Our next speakers for today, I'm proud to introduce, is myself, Dr. Jason Deitch, and my business partner, Dr. Jeff Langmaid. I think, as you know, we put together the program, The Smart Chiropractors, and today we're going to work together presenting to you our patient pilot program. We use AI to create the content, and if you join up for our patient pilot program, you'll be able to use AI to choose your 12-month weekly email curriculum specifically designed to go out to your patients. You're about to learn all about our Teach and Invite Consistently philosophy, and we'll either teach you how to use AI to do what we do for chiropractors, or we will invite you to let us help you help more people using the AI system within our patient pilot program. Enough from me. On behalf of Dr. Jeff Langmaid and myself, please enjoy us presenting to you your next session here at the Chiro AI Summit.
Hey everybody, I am Dr. Jeff Langmaid here with Dr. Jason Deitch, and we are super happy to be here with you for the Chiro AI Summit. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us, and thank you for engaging with all of our speakers throughout these 4 days. Jason and I are going to spend a few moments today discussing a little bit about what we do, and that includes Patient Pilot, the #1 patient reactivation system within chiropractic. We're going to talk a little bit about AI, highlight how reactivations play a major role ultimately in the success of your practice, and give you some actionable items that you can take with you after the summit, as well as, just like all the other speakers, a fantastic offer at the end to ensure you can get started easily. So Jason, we're going to talk Patient Pilot. I'm sure many docs kind of listening and watching are familiar with it. Maybe they've heard it. But I want to start with a core concept of what we do at Patient Pilot, because it's really critical, and it's the framework of Teach and Invite. When we discuss patient reactivations, we're going to talk about email marketing for anybody unfamiliar with Patient Pilot. Email is how we like to generate the most reactivations possible for our members around the world, but it starts with a concept called Teach and Invite. Jason, maybe I'll kick it over to you, and let's build the framework, build the foundation, and highlight the concept of Teach and Invite. What is it, and why does it matter so much?
Well, let me start with exactly the answer to that question. Why does it matter so much? And the reason it matters so much is that we would make the bold declaration that one of, if not the smartest business decision you could make for your practice is understanding what your strategy is to, in fact, stay in touch with your patients. Okay? It's just normal question every chiropractor should ask. What is my thought process around, you have a thought process around attracting new patients, but what's your thought process? What's your strategy? What are you going to do to keep in touch with, to communicate with your patients on an ongoing basis? Why? Because ultimately, patients stop for one of 3 reasons almost always. Either they feel better and they go, "Thanks, doc, that was awesome," and they discontinue care, often prematurely before they continue whatever your recommended action plan was or your care plan. 2, they stop care because they didn't feel as good as they wanted to, as quickly as they wanted to. "I don't know, doc, if this is really working. You said I'd feel better. I'm not feeling as better." And for whatever reason, they discontinue care. Or 3, life just gets in the way. Vacation comes up and they get out of routine. The insurance stops and they get out of their routine because they're unsure what's going to be paid and what's not going to be paid and what's covered and what they've got. All that stuff interferes with their routine. Holidays, kids, vacations, all the issues that get people basically off their care plans. And the question that we're asking, right? Why teach and invite consistently? Because you need a strategy for how you're going to communicate with the people that come into your practice. And smart chiropractors think it would be a good idea to stay in touch with everybody I connect with on what we believe to be the smartest basis, which is a weekly basis. So teaching and inviting is the healthcare professional's approach to staying in touch with your past customers, and not just selling them, not just offering them discounts, but in fact doing exactly what we're saying. Doctor means teacher. And so teach people on a regular basis. In fact, we call our weekly email newsletter Journey to Better Health, because that's exactly what it's designed to do. Teach people on their journey to better health, but you always want to make sure that you have an invitation. You're always welcome back to our practice conversation, which oftentimes will include how much it costs to come back to your practice, which we'll talk about further later on. But teach and invite is a philosophy to decide how you are going to stay in touch with the people that come in to see you, who are your active patients, and how do you define your inactive patients? So what happens when a patient discontinues care in your practice? For a lot of practices, they go, well, we have somebody call them every quarter and hopefully reactivate them back in the practice. And a lot of experts are sort of down on that because it doesn't really work very well. It's very difficult to make the right call to the right person at the right time, let alone hardly anybody likes to get calls anymore. It's very difficult to approach it in today's world the old way. The smartest approach is to teach and invite consistently. We believe most effectively through email.
Yeah, a couple things I want to highlight with what you said. The teach component, I always think of it like engage, entertain, inspire, right? Educate, ultimately. The invitation, as you said, is that call to action. What's that person doing, right? And hopefully they're clicking to come back in because they know somewhere along they went off the path, and do it consistently. As you mentioned, weekly is the cadence that's critical. And I want to highlight one other item, which is, we think about this through that teach and invite consistently lens, which is different. You might be sitting there saying and thinking to yourself, oh, my EHR does a little bit of email. It probably does. And it probably does it for appointment reminders. Those are transactional by nature. They're not relationship building. And those transactional stuff, that's really important. You want that text and email going out for appointment reminder, a missed appointment. But that is completely separate and distinct from you being that doctor, teacher, healer, educator that shows up and guides that journey to better health, as Jason mentioned. Now, Jason, something we've been spending a good amount of focus on, and I think this is really, really important, everybody listening and watching, which is we're going to talk about the invitation, that reactivation offer, the welcome back offer. This is something we've been spending a lot of time on over the second half of this year, really ensuring two separate items. One is that clarity is really important, but two, compliance is just as important. Maybe pick it up right there. Highlight some of what we've been discussing for the docs listening and watching in terms of that reactivation offer, how to think about it, how to implement it, things to avoid, and things to look out for.
This is such a super important part of the conversation that most chiropractors are ignoring. And it's important both because it works and it keeps you out of trouble. So I'll get through this as quickly, but I'll say as clarifying as I can. You know, most people, if they discontinue care in your practice, are going to have the exact same question 100% of the time when it's time to think about coming back to you. And that question is, how much does it cost? You see, unless you are at a practice, perhaps like The Joint, where it's very clear and transparent how much their visits are, how much their monthly memberships are, if you have the kind of practice that doesn't post your only fee, and if you're like most practices where you have a normal fee that you may bill insurance, but in other respects, you have other fees for whether it's memberships, whether it's families, whether it's direct pay, cash pay, however you language that. But if you have a regular fee that you bill insurance, and if you in any way whatsoever offer a discounted fee that is technically considered a dual fee system, if you have a normal fee you bill the insurance company and a different fee that you would charge most people if they weren't using their insurance or didn't have insurance, and if that price is more than 15%, then you have to make sure you're doing this legally and compliantly. Now, a lot of people are going, oh, it doesn't really matter. It's like speeding. I can do 60 and not get caught. And that might be true. But I had a conversation with Ray Foxworth from Chiro Health USA the other day, and he put it in a very interesting perspective that I thought I'd share with everybody else. Because you're right, you probably would not got stopped for doing 60. However, If you do get stopped for some other reason, and you also have something in the car that shouldn't be there that's wrong, that's when you're inviting a problem. And that's the way he described it the other day. And I'll just sort of reiterate it here. I don't know anybody who's ever got caught for a dual fee system per se. But what he said was every time an insurance company requests records, they will often request both the clinical records and financial records. And he very strategically explained to me that they are not your friends. The insurance companies asking for your records are not trying to figure out a way for them to approve more care for you. It's just the opposite. If you've been in business and practice for a little while, then you understand, I'll say, the beast you're dealing with. And the key is to make sure you're doing this legally and compliantly so that you can sleep well at night. Because here's what he explained happens. The records request is what opens the conversation to where can we find what you're doing wrong? So A, we don't have to pay you, and B, we might be able to ask for some money back. And that's reality. So what he explained and what we're now explaining to everybody for this reason, that we're not going to teach you to promote your practice to your past people, to include a price transparent, what we call a welcome back offer. Hey, everybody, this week, what we're teaching you on your journey to better health is fill in the blank. You choose those topics. And by the way, you're always welcome back to the practice. If you haven't been in the practice in more than, in some cases, we'll say 90 days or more, then you can take advantage of our welcome back offer for only X amount of dollars, fill in the blank. Now, the key here again, if you don't include how much it costs for somebody to reactivate back in your practice, that will work about as good as an advertisement you do for new patients that doesn't include a price. If you don't include the transparency of what it costs to take action, either as a new patient or to come back, then you're going to be missing massive opportunities. And if you're going to do it, make sure you do it legally and compliantly for the reason I just explained. It's easy to do. We've partnered with, we are endorsing Chiro Health USA because that is what they call a legal discount network. It's known as a DMPO, the Discount Medical Plan Organization. If you're going to offer discounts for more than 15% off your fees, which in many cases you should if you want to have lots of people come back, if you want to make it transparent to people to come back, if you bill insurance and you have an insurance fee and you also have a discount fee, make sure you're doing it the right and legal way, Jeff. That's really important for people to understand so that the process works. You know, we have people that say, oh, I've tried to reactivate people. It didn't really work very well. We ask a few questions. You go, yeah, did you do it consistently? Not really. I tried it out. Oh, okay. Was it a long block of words? Yes, I had a lot to say. Okay, well, that doesn't work either. There is a formula. It should look beautiful. It should be, to your point, quick and to the point. It should teach them something. It should have a welcome back offer that you know is compliant and legal. It should make it easy for them to either click or call to schedule back into your practice. And if you do all of those things consistently, you will find that it works really well. And the relevance to this conversation in the summit is that AI is what allows this to happen. Whether you do this yourself and you go to whatever your AI tool of choice is, and you go write me an email campaign and you prompt it to do exactly what you know it should do. For those of you that love to do it, do it. For most of you, you're going to want to work with companies like Jeff and mine who use AI for you to create literally a 52-week curriculum based on the 12 months you choose. If you're not sure which 12 months, you use our AI tool to help you determine which topic you want to choose for which month to be able to teach your style of practice. That's the type of AI tool we've embedded into Patient Pilot, Jeff. And it, I'll dare say, is pretty cool. So yeah, the idea is to make sure if you're inviting people back, if you have a transparent price offer, if it's more than 15% off your normal fee, make sure you're doing it the correct way. And that's to use a DMPO like Chiro Health USA.
Yeah, a couple things that I want to jump off of that you touched on that I think are really, really important. One is the clarity and compliance type thing, right? Ensuring that there's clarity in your offer. Everybody has new patient offers, and you can ask 100 doctors, and everyone will tell you immediately how much it costs. A new what kind of offer you running for a new patient? 19, 49, 99, free, 199, whatever it might be. Everybody knows those numbers, and we've asked hundreds of docs probably at this point, what's your reactivation offer? And we have yet to hear an answer. So that yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And then and you think back and you say, well, what? Well, why do you have a new patient offer? Well, the people need to know how much it costs. I want to be competitive. I want to highlight what we do. I want to be attractive to that new patient so that they say yes, right? Same thing applies. Yes, you built the know, like, and trust factor with your existing patients, but many are painfully unaware of how much it would cost to come back. That friction point often, more often than not, results in them going down the street to another chiropractor. The spoiler alert here is that your chiropractic utilization has generally stayed the same for the last 75 years. Why is that? The nightmare, so to speak, is it's because the same 15% of people at a high number, 10% likely, are going around to the same darn 10 chiropractors because they fall off with one, they see the offer for the other, they fall off with that guy or gal, they see the new patient offer for the other. So being competitive with the people that you already know, like, and trust from a business perspective, it's really important to have clarity on your back end, so to speak, meaning your reactivation offer, not just your front end, which would be your new patient offer, and making sure it's compliant. Really, really critical component of it, just for long-term, sleep at night, stability. Anybody starts looking under the hood in your practice, you want to make sure you have your ducks in a row. And certainly there's an easy solution to that. So that's where we recommend Chiro Health USA. From AI, on the AI perspective, I want to highlight two separate things that Jason touched on. One is we've been using AI internally with the Smart Chiropractor and with the Patient Pilot product for quite a long time. And the first place we put it into action was with that campaign selector tool. As Jason highlighted, we have over 80 campaigns to choose from. So you might be saying to yourself, weekly email sounds great. What am I going to talk about? Very good question. And the answer to that is any of the 80 plus campaigns that we have, whether they are chiropractic care focused, whether they are condition focused, or whether they are high revenue modality or niche focused. So whether you are a spinal decompression doctor, a pediatric provider, a sports performance doctor, a neck and back practice, a neuropathy practice, a functional medicine practice, a weight loss practice, a spinal discs practice, you could tell I could go on for about 80 some odd here, but we got you covered. So our campaign selector tool, you get to drag and drop onto your calendar a whole year's worth of campaigns in literally less than, as fast as you can make the decision. And you might say, it's going to be hard to make a decision. That's why the AI tool is there. So that's where you can just literally type in, I'm the type of practice that sees these types of patients and want to attract more of these types of patients. Our AI tool will then auto-populate your calendar based upon what you tell it. It's really cool, and it enables you to build out an annual curriculum or a full year's worth of campaigns in literally seconds, which is awesome. And then we go through the process behind the scenes with Patient Pilot, of course, of personalizing all those emails for you, your colors, your logos, all of the copy, all of the campaign stuff is there. That makes it really sing over time. So that a couple things I think were important to highlight there. Now, Jason, I'll put you on the hot seat here and say, I know my answer is going to be, but I want to know what your answer is going to be, which is, for docs that are going to come on board with Patient Pilot over the next few days and take advantage of our offer that we'll get to in a moment, what are some of those top couple outcomes that they should expect?
That's a great question. I think that probably my favorite outcome that I've heard from many people is, well, I'll say there's one of them. I'll say it two ways. What happens when you communicate with the hundreds, sometimes thousands of people that you have taken care of over the years, in some cases decades? You start seeing people come back. There's this consistent, if I've heard it once, I've heard it 100 times. I was just thinking about you and I saw your email and it reminded me to come back, and I've been meaning to, and it was just the right message at the right time. with the right price, making it clear that you're always welcome back. There's just great stories, and I've had that experience myself. There's just, I think, both a business win and a personal win when, let's just pause for the business case for reactivations for a second. Nobody would argue that investing in advertising to get new leads that become new patients is a good investment, right? But there's math involved. How much does it cost to advertise? How much is a lead value worth? What percentage show up and what percentage, quote, convert, however you define what that is. When somebody reactivates, when they come back to your practice, if you're doing it the way we're teaching it, they're not just coming back for a visit. They're coming back because they want to get back into the program or they need a new care plan recommendation. And it didn't cost you anything more to bring them back. So if you start doing the math about, wait a minute, new patients are great, but I usually have a customer acquisition cost and a low conversion rate relative to people that come back to the practice. And when they're coming back, they're coming back. That's the point. There's less of a conversion ratio that you have to meet because they're coming back to the practice. They've been there before. They've had your care. They want to be there as opposed to a first-time visitor. So instead of there being a high customer cost and a lower percentage of conversion, you have no customer cost and a much higher cost of conversion. And for both the financial reasons and the emotional reasons, it's great to see people come back and get back in the program and not have given up and not, to your point, have, just pause for a second. This whole idea that if you've been in practice for more than a few minutes, you've had people sit in front of you and you say, have you ever been to a chiropractor before? They go, yes, I have. And you go, well, who have you seen? Where have you been? And they mention 2 or 3 people in your town you might even think are good people. And you say to yourself, well, why are they coming to me? Why would they not go back? And that's what we're really talking about here, is really facing that moment. Why would they not go back? Did they really have a bad experience? Or is it just much easier when somebody has a new patient ad for, pick a number, $49, $99, $149, not $190, whatever your number is, at least they go, I know how much it is. I know what I'm getting. I can afford it. I'm going in fully knowing what I'm doing. And so that's my favorite expectation. People start seeing people coming back. They realize they don't have to depend so much on new patients, because as you start doing this over time, momentum builds. In the beginning, you're like, wow, all these people come back. But then you find a baseline based on how big your email list, how long you've been in practice, and I'll dare say how likable you are, how good of an experience people have in your practice. If you've got the kind of practice where people come back, or when they come in, they have a great experience with you, let's just be real. There's a greater likelihood people who have a great experience in a practice are going to go back to there, as opposed to people who didn't have such a good experience. People were rude. You didn't answer the phone. You didn't tell them upfront how much things cost. You didn't provide the exceptional experience many people deserve and expect these days. So I love seeing chiropractors who basically start kind of de-stressing, because they don't have to only depend on new patients as their sole source of new patients. They can start seeing a steady stream of people reactivating or coming back in their practice. That's known as net momentum. That takes the pressure off your new patient number. And when you start looking at the math and the economics of people coming back, how many you need to come back, that whole net momentum conversation is a game changer when you start affecting your formulas by consistently having people come back. I love seeing chiropractors sort of get into that rhythm and momentum of enjoying practice, because they're not constantly stressed on depending on new patients and new patient marketing and the next new who moved my cheese way to get people in. Before it was SEO, now it's AI. Before it was the insurance networks. How do you get people to want to come, pay, stay, and refer? That's what people are always trying to figure out. It is such a waste of time and energy to not stay in touch with your past people and keep inviting them back, so that when they're ready, not if, when they're ready, they know to come back to you and how much it costs.
Very, very well said. If you're the type of doctor, and I think you are, that wants to teach and invite consistently and really get out there. So I'll say it this way. If you'd like to teach and invite consistently, if you'd like to guide your patients on a journey to better health, I'll confidently say I think Patient Pilot is the best product and service out there. Yeah, I'm a little biased, but we built it. We built it for that reason. We built it for the reason to be the tool that enables chiropractors to feel proud about the messaging that they're putting out, to consistently engage and educate their patients, to invite them back in dare I say, a classic, clear way. And that enables you to stay in consistent communication, to guide them, and to invite them back on their terms. And when you do that, as Jason said, you build better positive net momentum. You decrease the stress of always needing more new patients. And you can feel good knowing you're doing everything you can to engage with your patients each and every week. So for this Chiro AI Summit, we have put together, as I was saying to Jason before we started taping, an offer so good we can't print it. So what does that mean? That means we're going to drop a link down below. And at that link, you can connect with our team, and we would love to be able to show a few emails to you. We'd love to be able to answer any questions that we probably know you have as you get started. And as you hop on that call, we will keep that open for the next 7 days. And over those 7 days, we will give you an offer so low, we're not going to print it. And we're going to make it really easy for you to be able to say yes, to be able to get up and rolling, and to be able to start sending before the first of the year. This enables you to build positive momentum throughout all of next year, to get your team up to speed before the end of the year, and to be able to teach, most importantly, teach and invite your patients each and every week. Jason, anything you want to close with?
Listen, I want to invite you to do the right thing for all the right reasons. It's great for your patients. It's great for you. It's great for your practice. It's great for your team. It's great for your relationship. It's great. And that's why we built it. Jeff and I have obviously a lot of pride in what we've built because we know it works. We know it works for chiropractors to help more people. And so please check it out. Take advantage of it. If you've tried it in the past and haven't gotten your emails and all that stuff put up, now's the time to get back into it and get into it, get it going. We've made a lot of great improvements to the program, and we really want to invite you to check it out and implement it as a system into your practice. AI is the future. The key is going to be, how do you free up your time so you can be the human, you can be the person, you can be the leader, you can connect with people and not spend all of your time and energy and stress doing the tasks that can be automated. And that's really what AI does these days. Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer and you figure out, wow, I can do this myself, then do it. But otherwise, again, work with teams that do use AI to basically make the impossible possible within minutes. I mean, the magic we put together could never have been created in years past because of technology limitations. It just wasn't possible. And now this is like going to iTunes and picking out which month you want to send which topics to which people. It's remarkable. So use AI. It is a productivity hack, so to speak, if that's a good word for it. Use it to make your life easier, to reach more people, to invite your past patients back. Make sure you do it legally and compliantly. And Jeff and I would be really proud to help you help more people using our tool. And we thank you for watching.
Have a fantastic rest of the Chiro AI Summit, and go VIP. VIP is going to give you the biggest discounts. You are going to, with probably one purchase of anything you see, is probably going to make your money back multi-fold. And Patient Pilot will be no exception. VIP people, we're going to give you the best deal, bar none. So if you have not got VIP on the Chiro AI Summit, please do so before we wrap that up, and have a fantastic rest of the summit. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a chiropractor, and we can't wait to see you inside of Patient Pilot. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. If you want the best deals on products and services, along with some of the best speakers in chiropractic, you're going to want to register for our next summit coming up soon. Click on down below and register today.